Welcome to Biology Made Easy. We are looking at chemiosmosis in this lesson. Chemiosmosis is related to the electron transport system. To look at the lesson we had on what is the electron transport system so that we continue it from there. Now, the electron transport system is in the inner membrane of the mitochondrion and also the membrane of the thylakoids. In chemiosmosis, hydrogen ions that get to the electron transport system, the hydrogen ions are pushed out of the membrane into the intermembrane space of the mitochondrion, and if it's happening in the chloroplast, the hydrogen ions are pushed into the thylakoid compartment. Now, how did these hydrogen ions come into the electron transport system? We have hydrogen ions from photolysis, that is if it's in the chloroplast during the light-dependent stage of photosynthesis. If the hydrogen ions are from NAD-reduced and FAD-reduced, that is from aerobic respiration, mainly Krebs cycle, then the hydrogen ions came as reduced NAD. Reduced NAD oxidizes, produces the hydrogen ions and electrons and becomes NAD. Then the hydrogen ions are pushed into the intermembrane space. Hydrogen comes as reduced fat. Reduced fat oxidizes, giving out its hydrogen ions, which are pushed into the intermembrane space. The electrons are carried on through the electron system. Now, as hydrogen ions are pushed from the membranes into the intermembrane space, or if it's photosynthesis, into the thylakoid compartment, the concentration of hydrogen ions above the membranes is higher than below. So hydrogen ion concentration is set up as the hydrogen ions flow through the ATP synthase. Energy is given off, and the energy is used to combine ADP and inorganic phosphates to form ATP. Now, ATP synthase, part of it is in the membrane and part of it is in the matrix of mitochondrion. It's in chloroplast. Part of the ATP synthase is in the membrane and part of it is in the stroma. Now, the ATP synthase, the part that is in the membrane is called the base. Then it has a part called the stalk. Then this part is the enzyme part. Now, as the hydrogen ions pass through, the stalk is a protein that rotates to allow the hydrogen ions to pass through. Now, as the hydrogen ions pass through, energy is produced. And this part of the ATP synthase is an enzyme which has 3 sites. One of the sites, the energy which is produced combines ADP and inorganic phosphate loosely at one of the enzyme sites. Then at other enzyme sites, the ATP is formed and is tightly bound. And then another site, the ATP is released. So this is how the ATP synthase transports the hydrogen and how the enzyme part produces the ATP. Now you notice that the ATP synthase has its stalk and enzyme part in the matrix of the mitochondrion, and if it's in the chloroplast, then the stalk and the enzyme part are in the stroma. So the ATPs that are formed in the matrix or in the stroma, and the hydrogen ions that are released into the matrix or the stroma can be used to form water, that is in mitochondrion, and the hydrogen ions are used to form NAD phosphate reduced if it's in the mitochondrion, so that the NAD phosphate reduced can be used in the light independent stage of photosynthesis. Now the ATP synthase produces a structure. If the inner membrane of the mitochondrion, this is the inner membrane of the mitochondrion, if it's drawn, it's shown that the inner membrane of the mitochondrion looks like this, and these round structures are the ATP synthase. Well, this is where we end today on chemiosmosis. It's part of the electron transport system if The electron transport system is not only electrons that are being carried in some process like cyclic photophosphorylation. Only electrons are brought into the electron carrier system, and the electrons are carried on, and the electrons are released, and cytochrome oxidase will release oxygen to absorb the electrons. That is electrons only. But if molecules come along with hydrogen, then chemiosmosis takes place along the electron transport system also. This is where we end with our lesson on chemiosmosis. If it's been useful, please give us a thumb and subscribe. Thank you.